Good evening and welcome to Simi Valley, California in the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library for the 2012 GE-Reagan Foundation Scholars Retreat. My name is Tony Penny. I met most of you earlier today, and I'm the director of the Walter and Lenore Annenberg Presidential Learning Center here at the Foundation. And our mission here is to engage the future leaders of America with the aim of developing proactive and informed, educated and conscientious citizens and leaders. And if every student we worked with in our work here over the course of the year turned out like all of you, our GE-Reagan scholars, we would be tremendously happy and out of a job. But over the course of your visit here, you'll get a little more of a glimpse of what we actually do. We hope your experience here in Simi Valley is off to a good start and that you all enjoyed serving our local community together this morning. Ronald Reagan said, "I don't think there's any better gauge for the soul of a nation or the essential goodness of a people than an accounting of their personal involvement in helping others, either through donations of money or time." And we know that one of the reasons you are with us over the next few days is because of your essential goodness and because of your personal and continual commitment to helping others. We are honored that you brought your leadership and character to help build our community here in Ventura County, and I know that the part you played in helping Food Share fulfill its mission of feeding 75,000 people per month was an important way for you to spend your time this afternoon. So thank you for your work this afternoon. I'd also like to introduce to you some of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation staff who are in attendance this evening. If you just want to stand and give a wave when I say your name. First, our Executive Director, Mr. John Highbush, who also was part of the selection committee. Some of you may recognize him from Skype. Our Chief Administrative Officer, who told you all sorts of wonderful tales of her work with President Reagan, Miss Joanne Drake. And our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Glenn Baker, is responsible for the checks that you'll be receiving at some point for your... So be nice to him. I would also like to welcome a representative from our Scholarship Administrator, International Scholarship and Tuition Services, the Vice President of Customer Care, Mr. Jose Resendiz. And finally, it's also my pleasure to introduce to you another one of our selection committee members. Please join me in welcoming former First Lady of the State of California, Mrs. Gail Wilson. You'll see a number of other faces throughout the retreat, many of whom have been very involved with the GE-Reagan Foundation Scholarship Program. And while some of us here tonight have had the opportunity to get to know you, whether we read your application or participated in a Skype or phone interview with you during the selection process, we recognize that you're still getting to know one another. Since our goal is for you to be connected in college and beyond as an elite few sharing the distinction of being a GE-Reagan Foundation scholar, we wanted to start this evening by helping you to do just that. So scholars, I'm going to put you on the spot here in a moment. So first of all, President Reagan was an amazing communicator who excelled at speaking to groups of all sizes. One of his hallmarks was to include a quote or a joke or a story to help him kind of make a point. He was constantly collecting his favorite quotations and stories, and he kept them on note cards. In fact, as part of the centennial, one of the things that they found was this collection of notes that President Reagan kept over his career as a public speaker, and it's they actually have it in the bookstore, and you can get it online too. But it's a collection of quotes and stories and jokes. And when he was preparing to make a speech, whether it was to an audience of GE employees or on a campaign stop, he would frequently kind of look through these note cards and choose the appropriate quote or story to help him make his point. So what I'm going to do now is give you a task that is going to ask you to use a couple different parts of your brain. And I'm quite confident, given your level of accomplishments at this point, that you can handle this. So I'm going to give you about 20 seconds. Not yet, doesn't start yet. But I'm going to ask you to line up over here in alphabetical order by school. I'm not going to give you any further directions than that. You guys can figure it out. If you want a university, the state, wherever, you guys figure it out. You have 20 seconds. You can do it. Then you're going to come up here and you're going to introduce yourself to the audience. You're going to tell us your name, the school you were going to, and then earlier, as you were walking in, our very talented interns, Tracy and Nicolette, were handing out pieces of paper asking you to write down a favorite quote. So we're going to ask you to do something in the spirit of President Reagan, which is to share your quote, your piece of wisdom with the audience here from the podium. So, if you want, please come over to this side of the stage over here. And as soon as I get everybody up, we will start your official time. I see some of you are rethinking your quotes that you wrote down now. Okay, so your time starts now, so you have about 20 seconds. You have about 3 more seconds. And just to ease you a little bit, nobody has an answer key for this, so you're going to be okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of stand up over here, and one at a time, scholars, if you could come up, you could introduce yourself, where you're going to be going to school in the fall, and share your piece of wisdom or your quote with us. We would appreciate it.
Hi, my name's Brianna. I'm going to be attending Auburn in the fall, and I plan on majoring in psychology. My quote that I chose to, quote, is by Marilyn Monroe. I believe that everything happens for a reason. People change so that you can learn to let go. Things go wrong so that you appreciate them when they go right. You believe lies so you eventually learn to trust no one but yourself. And sometimes, good things fall apart so better things can fall together. This quote's important to me because it truly describes how life is. There's a reason behind everything. Whether you want to believe it or not, people do change, even when you don't want them to. Things will go wrong, but never panic because things will get better. You will be lied to and stepped on, but that only makes you stronger. Also, wonderful things such as relationships, jobs, things that you love, will fall apart. However, better things, as I said before, will come to happen. Life is crazy, but hold on because it is a beautiful ride. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kyle Hosley, and I will be attending the University of California, Berkeley in the fall. I will be double majoring in philosophy and sociology with a focus in law. My quote is, life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. To me, this has like a lot of different meanings, and I'm sure that it's all running through you guys' mind. But life is something crazy. Like, we're dealt with different hands. We all come from different situations, and we may constantly ask ourselves, why are we in this situation, or why are we going through this? But we never really know. There's plenty of times where I'm sure many of us teenagers went through that phase where we started high school and we're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I'm trying to be with or what group I want to consider myself part of. And we're constantly trying to find where we fit in. But now that we're constantly getting older and we're constantly having people to look up to and to be part of such a prestigious group, the GE-Reagan Foundation, now we're creating ourselves and we're creating a name for ourselves by going to these different universities and by just standing for what we feel is right. This quote just speaks out on that life is not about finding yourselves, but it's about being that best person you can be and about creating what it is that you can be and how we can help whomever it is that we may help and do whatever it is we may do. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Aaron, Aaron Quenold. I'm going to University of California at Davis, fairly close to Berkeley, I suppose. And my quote that I chose to tell you guys about today is by my wrestling coach. And the quote's all out, all heart, and never give up. And as much as that applies to wrestling, I feel like it applies to your everyday life. You're going to want to give it your all and never give up no matter how hard things are, because you're not going to get anywhere. And that's what life is about, is getting somewhere, I think. So I don't know if I followed the last two guys very well, but they're pretty great. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Charlotte Cherry, and I am going to Georgetown to study international relations. And my quote for tonight is by my grandmother, and she's here as well. But she always says that there's always someone who has it worse than you do. And I think that that's really important, because I think that people are made from their life experiences, and that hardship and overcoming obstacles is a part of life and a part of what makes you who you are. And so to be able to be inspired to look beyond yourself and to see who else you can help and where you are in relation to everyone else, instead of as just, I don't know, it's easy to be insulated within yourself and to really look outside and see what everyone else is doing and how everyone can be influenced by those around them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gregory Boyer. This fall I'll be attending Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. My quote actually comes from Scripture, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you a hope and a future." I know life has thrown me a couple curveballs, as I know it has thrown a couple of our scholars here today, but I know that through the efforts of General Electric and the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation that I'm able to see God's plan starting to unroll for me, and I know that whatever I do, I know that He has a plan for me, and that's how we get through life. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephen Ash, and in the fall I'll be attending the University of Mary Hardin Baylor and studying music education. My quote comes from someone who I admire very much, along with President Reagan. It comes from Winston Churchill. And he said, very simply, never give up, never give up, never give up. And I know that all of us have dreams, all of us have hopes that we want to attain, and life throws a lot of adversity at us, and it's so important that we never give up, because there always is hope, and we always have the truth to guide us. And no matter what, we can't give up on what we know is right. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Katie Harding, and I'm attending Northern Arizona University in the fall. I kind of missed the description memo, so mine's not going to be as good as everyone else's. But my quote is by one of my favorite authors in the world, Lewis Carroll. And he said, "I cannot go back to yesterday because I was a different person then." And I really think that just describes how we should all be focused on in our lives, just changing every day, improving every day to where we couldn't go back to the day before, because we've learned something new and we're different. So that's my quote.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Lauren Pugh. I will be attending The Ohio State University in the fall as a Green Engineering Scholars student, majoring in chemical engineering. The quote that I have chosen to present today is by Albert Einstein. "Only a life lived in service is one worth living." I chose this quote because I really feel like this is how
I've begun to live my life throughout the past couple of years. I love to volunteer. I love to see the expressions on people's faces when, you know, you give them a warm, kind smile or a hug or just even talking to anybody. Honestly, it just brightens their day, and I really feel like that I can just, you know, you can change the world with just a smile to somebody or a kind gesture, and I really feel like that is a quality I try to reflect in my everyday life, no matter where I am, no matter who I'm with. I always just try to be the best person that I can be, and I really feel that, like, all of the scholars here today are really a true representation of what it's like to be a well-rounded student and to be the best person that they can be. So, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronak Patel, and I will be attending Ohio State University next fall. And the quote I decided to choose was by Gandhi. It's, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." And this actually represents my life pinpoint, because I started volunteering at Children's Hospital in East Tennessee when I was about 13 or 14. And actually, last May, one of the UT professors was in town, was in the hospital, and he actually offered me an internship at the University of Tennessee. He was like, "Hey, he saw how hardworking I was, came to the hospital a lot, and he was like, "Do you want an internship for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, it's in cancer research." And I was like, "Of course I want to do it. It's cancer research." And basically, I wasn't expecting anything from just volunteering at the East Tennessee Children's Hospital, but it actually gave me a great opportunity and helped me choose my career field in chemistry. And that's why I chose it.
Good evening. My name is Sophia Kwan, and I will be attending Pacific Union College and majoring in biology, as well as participating in the honors program. And my quote is by Suzanne Wein, and it's from the Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, and it is called "Life is an Occasion, Rise to It." And I chose this quote because, as my little sister pointed out, it's posted on my mirror, but also because I believe that in life we're handed a deck of cards, but the way we play the game is up to us. And when we see life as an occasion, as I'm sure all of the scholars here today see life, I believe that we're able to take things into our own hand. Regardless of the circumstances that we are given or the positions that we are put in, when we strive to live as if life was an occasion, we will always be able to see the best side of ourselves. And we don't rise to that occasion for our own benefit, but rather because when we rise, we bring others with us as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Megan Pham. I will be attending the University of Southern California as a computer science and business administration major. The quote I chose was from Confucius, and it says, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." And I believe this was a really great quote because everyone hits a wall in their life when they need to go on and persevere in their life, and you have to remember to be bold, dream fiercely, and triumph in times of adversity. And I believe that all of us have always hit a time when we have to just go around what obstacles have thrown at us, but we've always not been afraid of falling, but always trying to rise from our kind of hole from there. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ricky Anjorin, and I'll be attending the University of Virginia as a human biology major. And my quote from tonight is from the President of Liberia. Her name is President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and it says, "If your dreams do not scare you, they're not big enough." And I found this quote when I was applying to colleges, and I had to stop myself and ask whether my dreams scare me or not. And sadly enough, the answer for me at that time was no, they did not. And what happened was, from being a young child to growing up, you go through so many things, and at times life, it dulls your dreams. Like a pencil, after you've written so many times, it becomes dull. And that quote really sharpened my dreams. So I've learned that it's okay to be afraid, and you don't have to change your dreams or diminish them because of society or because of what others say. So it just taught me to continue dreaming big no matter how old I get or whatever happens in life.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Hadford, and I will also be attending the University of Virginia as a business major. My quote is, does anybody know what that guy's beef was? And this was said by President Ronald Reagan after he was shot in his first term. And despite being nearly killed, he remained strong and continues to lead our nation. And I think this is symbolic to our country as a whole, because although we face difficult circumstances, we always rise to overcome the challenges. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hanan Yahya, and I will be attending the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor in the fall. Quoted by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said, "Seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave." And this is my lifelong quote that I go by. And I hope that I will continue to seek knowledge, whether that is in college, my everyday life, and my future aspirations. Thank you.
All right, not bad for an assignment that you had about 5 minutes to prepare for. Ronald Reagan was very much an optimist who always believed that America's best days were yet ahead of her. And I think after hearing some of your quotes and some of your reasoning behind it, there's ample evidence for that here tonight, and ample evidence for why you were chosen to receive the awards that you did. There's going to be other opportunities throughout our retreat to recognize our scholars, but if you could just give them one more hand for indulging us in that exercise. And I promise I won't put you on the spot anymore today. Now, you may have counted only 14 of our 15 scholars who were with us. One of our honorees, Dalton Meyer of Elm Creek, Nebraska, was accepted into the U.S. Air Force Academy and required to report for basic training today. And since he cannot be at basic training at the Air Force Academy and here, he regrets that he's not here, but hopefully you'll have a chance to meet him online after the retreat. We have a nice online community of our scholars. Also, you should have received a tote bag and a folder when you checked in at the hotel. Everybody got those, correct? And knowing what we do about you, you've probably committed that schedule to memory and or your digital calendar. Please know that in each of the activities we have planned for you, we hope to provide you and your guests with some unique opportunities to learn about and experience both the greatness and the legacy of our 40th president. Now I am pleased to introduce to you one of the architects of the GE-Reagan Foundation Scholarship Program, our executive director here at the foundation and one of the selection committee members, Mr. John Highbush.
Thank you so much, Tony. I don't know if you, where is Aaron Corsoval? Where is Aaron? Good. Have you recognized Aaron just yet? You know, you all wouldn't be here if it weren't for Ronald Reagan and General Electric, but or the selection committee members like myself. I promise you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Aaron Corsoval. Aaron, thank you for everything. The other thing I would like to say is now that you are all here, most of you for the first time, and you can see the splendor around you, if you'd like, you could just skip college and we'd be happy to hire every one of you. Our CFO says we don't have the money for that. We might have the money for scholarships, but not enough to hire you right away. But in 4, 5, 6 years, please come back. My name's John Highbush, and I'm going to go to, well, actually, I went to Georgetown University and Virginia Tech. if I were to state what my favorite quotes were, there'd be a lot of Ronald Reagan quotes, but I will withhold giving you those because you're going to see a lot of them in the next 24 hours. But I thought I would kind of break ranks in terms of what I was intending to say, to throw a few quotes your way. This certainly won't be a graduation speech, but a couple for you to think about. The first, I actually can't remember if it was Emerson or Thoreau, but the quote was, I am the ultimate egoist. I compare myself to no one. And I really encourage you to think about that one, especially as you head into college, where it's going to be really competitive, and you'll always be comparing yourself to others in terms of grades or academic performance or sports performance or what have you, and if you just kind of keep your eye on the ball and the ball is you'll do quite well. The other kind of ties to one of the quotes I heard one of our scholars say, and it comes from Nietzsche, and it says, Nietzsche said, always do what you're afraid to do. Always. And I think that has meaning to everyone here as you head off onto some new horizons. You know, I remember when I first read that quote, I thought, well, I don't think he means drugs or smoking cigarettes or something like that. It's not every single thing you might be afraid to do, but to challenge yourself to do those things that you think, there's no way I can do them. So with that, what I want to do is join Tony in welcoming you here to the Reagan Library. Last year, President Reagan would have celebrated his 100th birthday, something we called his centennial. And to honor his legacy and commemorate the milestone, we had tributes take place all over the world. Right here at the library, we completely transformed this new museum that you're going to be seeing tomorrow with new exhibits and new technology. I think you're going to be quite impressed. So, to celebrate all the fanfare, we were pleased to partner with a company called General Electric, GE. And they served as a presenting sponsor of the Centennial. And as part of their support, we established with them what's become the GE-Reagan Foundation Scholarship Program. And over the life of the program, which will be at least 10 years, it's going to help roughly 200 student leaders, just like yourself, pursue higher education. Now, this new venture was exciting for us to leap into, but I knew it was also going to be very daunting. You know, how do you go about finding the best and brightest student leaders in the country who can justly bear the name of being a GE-Reagan scholar? You know, we started with just almost 10,000 students like yourself. So the fact that you're sitting here is a really big deal. And you should congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back, because you're one of the very, very few. Now, last year's inaugural class lived up to our standards. They're all doing really well. And as I look out at you tonight, and having met a number of you and your parents, I'm totally confident you will as well. As Tony said, we will honor you properly tomorrow evening, but let me just say, we are so proud to call you our 2012 class. I want to congratulate you and welcome you and hope that you have a great evening and a great day here tomorrow. So thanks again.
Thank you very much, John. Now, we're going to head indoors in just a minute, which for those of you who are shivering, I'm sure that's going to be welcome relief. But before we do that, I'm going to ask all of our scholars, along with Mrs. Wilson, John, Glenn, and Joanne, to meet by the Berlin Wall. We're going to take a group photograph right here. And then we're going to head into the theater, which is right through that open door there, and watch a couple of films about President Reagan and his time at GE. We also have some snacks there. It's not a movie without snacks, so feel free to grab those. And we also have some restrooms and stuff in the lobby for anybody who needs to use those. So scholars, if I could invite you to kind of gather before the wall here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.